It was just any other ordinary day for the world. But for a 5-year-old boy, it was the most difficult day of his life. He had just lost his beautiful mother, and his father had also left them. He had no place to go. His innocent eyes couldn't comprehend why a relative had thrown him into a train compartment. The rough tossing of the train as it ambulated its way on the bridge traversing the river Godavari near Rajamandri hurt his little heart more than his body. He was traveling into an unknown future with no one for support. Out of sheer pity and kindness, his uncle adopted him, and the rest is history. This was the crossroads of his life. Years later, the boy went on to become a legend and a star of Indian cricket, whose innings of life was studded with so many beautiful moments that an entire book could be written about him, and an award-winning Bollywood film may well be made to describe his journey. I'm talking about Murugeshan Krishnaswamy Murugesh, also known as the Devil Bowler from Madras. You may Google that name if you like, but this episode is dedicated to the unsung legends of India and their simple contributions to the gentleman's game, cricket, and life per se. Born on September 7th, 1933, Murugesh lost his mother when he was just 5. He was brought up by his uncle and auntie who adopted them. He took to cricket when he was 9 years old, just for the sake of bowling to his older brother who played the game, and started off his career as a right-arm spin bowler. One day, as his right hand was hurting a bit, he tried bowling with his left hand and found that he could magically spin the ball, much to the surprise of his brother, who asked him to continue bowling with the left arm. He played his first inter-school match at the tender age of 10 and got 8 wickets for 10 runs. Later, Murugesh played for his college and straightaway got into the first division. In the first league match against the strong MCC team, he took 7 wickets. MKM, as he was known, had arrived on the face of Indian cricket in style. With good performances, he got selected into the Inter-Association Under-25 team for Madras, and in the first match against Hyderabad, he took 13 wickets in 2 innings. In the year 1954-55, he played for the coveted Ranji Trophy and steered his team Madras into their first ever victory with 24 wickets. Till then, the trophy had never travelled to the southern part of India. In his first match against the visiting SJOC team, he took 8 wickets. The dark and lanky Murugesh was catching national attention as the North Lobby gave him the nickname Devil Bowler from the South. Surely, with these outstanding performances, he was called up for the Indian team trials. CD Gopinath, one of the most brilliant cricketers from Tamil Nadu, who donned the Indian cap many times, was also the skipper of the winning Ranji team, with Murugesh leading the battle with the spin. Gopinath is the last surviving member of India's first test winning team. It was an honor to ask him about MK.
Well, I'm so pleased to be able to say something, contribute something about Murugesh on his 90th birthday. We have been lifelong friends, fellow cricketers, teammates and everything. By and large, I will confine my whatever I have to say about our cricketing connection. He played cricket with me for, I can't count how many years. I captained the Madras team for about 6 or 7 years, and throughout this period, he played for Madras. And the one thing that I would emphatically say is, I've never come across a better or a greater team man than Murugesh. He played for his team, for the success of his team, and without thinking about his own achievements or his own glory. He did everything the team wanted for him. And not only on playing field, but even in the pavilion or wherever we were, he was a true team man whose contribution to the Madras team was immense. I mean, Murugesh was a bowler. He was not expected, we as batsmen were expected to score runs. Murugesh, his job was to get the wicket, get the other side out. And he was a bowler. And but you know, when the team needed him for batting, he was always there, and his contribution was immense. Going a little further, I would say one of his other great qualities was his ability to keep the team in good humor. I don't know if many people know, he was a very good mimic. He could mimic some other team members and so on, either the way they were talking or the way they were playing or the way they were walking. He could mimic them and keep the team in great laughter. So Murugesh's contribution was absolutely immense in many ways, not only in his bowling, his batting, his keeping the morale of the team up, and he was a real team man, and I was so fortunate that he was part of our team in most of my playing days. Although, as I said, he has scored 90. His batting also was something like that, and I hope he goes on to score his 100. Thank you.
However, Murugesh's foster parents did not encourage him in the game, and he had to hide and don the whites on the sly. His college friend and sweetheart, Arati, the Bengali beauty, and daughter of the Commissioner of Income Tax, Mr. Priyanath Mukherjee, became his accomplice and sponsor. And the rest is history, as they say. They were married in June 1957, and the wedding reception made national news and was attended by many celebrities. Murugesh won hearts all around him, not just for his magnificent game and spin, but also for his jovial nature and singing prowess. His beautiful, deep singing voice also got him offers for playback in the budding Tamil cine industry, but he dared not double time. His family were already sensing something fishy with their son's increasing popularity and visits from the cricket comrades. Murugesh was selected to play for the Indian University team in 1956, and he played against New Zealand at Nagpur. He played for the South Zone consistently and also against New Zealand. His best performance in Ranji Trophy includes a long record of 7 wickets against Hyderabad in the first innings and all 3 wickets in the second. Everyone still applauds the best batting performance, 93 runs against Gujarat for Madras University. Not something you expect from a bowler, but knowing Murugesh, he took his team to victory with a hard-hitting performance at the crease. He took up running commentary on All India Radio and Doordarshan television and covered the Ranji Trophy, Duleep Trophy and the Irani Trophy matches regularly. In fact, he was the first Tamil cricket commentator to give match reviews and ball-to-ball commentary for cricket matches and was quite sought after even then in the commentator's box. He was a selector for the Madras under-25 state and the Irani Trophy teams and a mentor of sorts to many Indian cricket stalwarts of those days. V. Kumar, India's ace bowler in the early 1960s, is by far one of the oldest cricket friends of Murugesh and shares 76 years of lovely memories with him. Let's listen to what V. Kumar had to say.
let me tell you what I felt at that point of time about Murugesh was, uh, as a schoolboy, as a college boy, and also as a state representative for quite a few years. The one thing which I observed was that he had extraordinary talent. Talent at those days, yeah, I would not be able to define it, but talent means that could not be fathomed. That was how it was inside Murugesh, which he was at ease to display it in almost all the matches he played. I could see that because we had played together nearly about, let us say, 150 to 100 matches together, and against each other also. Arati played a very, very huge part in Murugesh's development as a cricketer and as an individual, right? Forget about cricket. But she had she had a vision, and she had a, liking for certain things that should be done by Murugesh in the office, in the playing field, domestically, and also in confidence. And I don't think I have. We had a lot of wives by then. CD used to have Komala was there, and we had Kripal Singh Mausami was there. Uh, One or two Chandy and Rubika Chandy was there. But Aarti had something special, right? She, in a way, I could have seen her, witnessed her quite a few matches. When the situation was tense, she was absolutely at ease to diffuse the situation, diffuse the area of concern, and then say, come on, you are capable of doing, you'll definitely do well, don't worry about all things that happen. That is how she went on. This persisted almost for, I would say, till her unfortunate passing away. But if you ask me, was it Murugesh or was it CD Gopinath uh, only contribution to this game? No, I would say that Arti was about 60 to 70%, or even more than that, who was responsible for Murugesh attaining the glory that he had already achieved, and then part of it goes to Gopinath, and who had Komi also, his wife also, but not to that extent as Arti. She is something different from this area of concern.
Murugesh and his wife Arati won the hearts of everyone by pairing together to pioneer and foster women's cricket in India. Till then, it had remained a male bastion. But 1974 changed it all. Murugesh was the national selector for the women's cricket team to play Australia in 1974. Coincidentally, his wife Arati was named the first manageress of the Indian women's cricket team. In fact, Arati was also invited for lunch at Prime Minister Indira Gandhi's residence in Delhi with the Indian women's cricket team and made quite an impression there. Many years later, Mrs. Gandhi even wrote to wish her son Gautam and his bride Sandhya on their wedding. This was in 1982. Sudha Shah, the first unofficial captain of the Indian women's cricket team that welcomed the Aussies to Madras in 1974, was very close to the couple and shared some memories.
Hi, my name is Sudha Shah. I've played cricket uh, since godly knows when. I did play for India from 1975 to 1991 and played for Tamil Nadu and South Zone from 73 to 97. And from 99 onwards, I was the coach of the Indian women's team till 2010. And then in 2014, I was once again the coach of the Indian team. And in 2013, I was the national selector. And again, from 17 to 19, I was national selector. So it's been a long, long stint in cricket. And the first time I met Uncle Murugesh and Auntie was ages back. I hope I can recollect the time spent, but I mean, what really sort of sticks with me is they were such warm people, and we were just forming our Tamil Nadu Women's Cricket Association at that time, and we were approaching ex cricketers and Uncle Murugesh, being a family friend, we approached him, and he was, he just at once agreed that he'd be selector. And if what I remember of Uncle was he was very, very, very serious in his work, and he really supported us. One thing that really sort of struck me was once in '75 when Australia had come, we had the South Zone versus Australia in Bangalore. And that selection meeting went on for, I think, 4 or 5 hours. And Uncle wouldn't just give in. He was like, he wanted our Tamil Nadu players to play, and he fought for us. And he was telling us that after that, it was some experience that, he'll never ever forget. And he supported us so much. And finally, we were 9 players who played in the 11 in that game. And when we were looking out for a manager, and think Auntie Arati was there, who was such a loving person. We were like such good family friends. It really didn't feel like, they were officials and we were players. They treated us like their own. And it is just real fantastic memories that I have of Uncle. And to think he's turning 90 now. I mean, great Uncle. Wishing you all the very best. God bless.
Murugesh had visited the UK, East Africa, and USA to play cricket in 1974, 1976, and 79, and had played a number of matches against Sri Lanka for the Gopalan Trophy. In 1986, Murugesh and his daughter Meenakhi made history for the country when they created a cricketing world record. In the Limca Book of World Records, they are listed even today as the only father-daughter to give running commentary together for Ranji Trophy and Duleep Trophy matches. This unique record remains unbroken to date and will soon find its application into the Guinness Book of World Records. A sports-loving family. All his sons have played cricket for under 15, under 19, and under 22. His only daughter, Meenakhi, played cricket for the Madras State and captained the Indian handball squad at the Asian Games and many other prestigious tournaments. 2 decades ago, the Murugeshes shifted to California, USA, to be with their sons. The family supports local cricket and sponsors cups and trophies for cricket tournaments annually. The brilliant 64-year innings between Murugesh and his wife Arati came to an end in 2021, but the celebrations have never ended. The Devil Bowler turns 90 in September 2023, but the spark in his eyes and his never-ending zeal to keep his game up will never fade out. Listen to what his son Keshav had to say.
MK Murugesh, my father, my hero, my dad. You have been the devil bowler that put fear into the minds of every one of your opponents, and what a track record you created for yourself on the field, off the field, as a player, as an administrator. You even made Mom a cricket freak. You taught me a lot of things, Dad, which have helped me in the world of business. First and foremost, be fair to everyone that interacts with you and who plays the game. The second is that it is not a team of individual champions, but it's a champion team that always matters. And the third is be fair to everyone, but also be ruthless where it is required in the larger interest of the game and the organization. I have practiced it to the hilt. Thank you very much, Dad, for all that you have taught me. God bless, and I look forward to spending a lot of time with you, along with me, as well as the children and your entire Murgi family across the world.
Murugesh and Arati moved to California to live with their son Lakshman. Lakshman had a word to put in here.
My dad has taught me so many important life lessons. I have had the pleasure of having my dad live with me for the last 25 years in America, and those life lessons have continued through these years. For one, he has really taught me how to tackle the most complex and challenging problems using logic and a simple approach. And I think that's really helped me a lot. I think the other thing is my dad is a person who's always put family first, and those values of family first continues even within my own family today. All of us are very close. And I think probably most importantly, the lesson he's taught me is winning is not everything, but winning while playing the game with a sportsman's-like approach is the most important, because in that case, even the person who loses the game becomes your fan and your biggest supporter. So many lessons from my dad. Thank you so much, Dad.
Their oldest son, Gautam, now lodges this wonderful man in his house and enjoys the fraternity of his father like a friend. Gautam today walks hand in hand with a lovely father and has something to say for Dad.
When I talk about my father, it's absolutely necessary that I should also include my mother, because without my mother, my father is really not a complete picture. My father, being a great cricketer, always instilled in us the sportsman spirit, made sure that all of us continued to live our lives in the most sporting of ways. Also taught us that what was important was to do your best, not necessarily look at your failures, but instead in terms of how could you have done better and continue to keep striving to do the best. And that's something that we all use today in our lives as well. In fact, that same value has been passed on to my children, my grandchildren, and all of them are keen sportsmen, and in every sport that they play, they are always known for the fairness with which they play that game. So that's a great lesson that I got from my father. Now, it's also important because my mother has been the backbone for my father. She's never missed a single match of his. It's always there. In fact, at one point of time, Mr. Sriraman, who was then the secretary of the TNCA, would always ensure that the first ticket for any test match in Chepauk was kept aside for my mother, because she never missed a single match. And some things that she taught us was, continue to keep striving for always being the best, being truthful, making sure that you don't hurt anybody around you. Try to be as magnanimous as you can, provide for everybody that you can. And that's a lesson that us as a family have taken. Both my parents have provided us that level of values that have continued with the whole Murugesh family even today.
Who would have imagined that the 5-year-old orphan boy from Chennai would rise like a phoenix from the ashes and blaze a trail, a beautiful trail in Indian cricket? For me, my father, MK Murugesh, is my biggest inspiration, and I'm proud to present him today.
Hello friends, this is Murugesh. Muruge to all of you, always. It's been a wonderful life playing with all of you on the cricket field and off the field. The field is always a war between two teams, but off the field, we've always been great friends, whether we played against each other or with each other. You know that cricket is not just a game. It teaches you the way of life. One day it teaches you up to the top of the world, the whole mob, the whole cricketing world praising you sky high. In the next match you score a 0, and then you find yourself rocketing down to the ground. But yet, you get up and you go back to practice. You find out what is your weakness, and you play cricket again to score. Life is like that. It's full of ups and downs. One day you are happy, the next day you are unhappy, third day you are sorry. But life goes on and you carry on living your life. Now cricket is like Gita. It teaches you life. It's a great game to play, a team game, where it teaches you to socialize with people, how to get along with other people who may not be of your same caliber, of your character, of your equal. But you can meet with them, you make friends with them, and you know how to live with people. That is how you live with society.
You will be happy to know that your Meenamma was born a Murugesh. I've just talked the story of my father, my mother, and their great innings in life. Life is like a game of cricket. All of us are born to play this within the framework of the game. Let each one of us play the innings to the best capacity that we have. I wish my father, MK Murugesh, a wonderful 90th and a great innings ahead.
नन्ना मुन्ना एक सपना दे जा रे सुरमई अखियों में नन्ना मुन्ना एक सपना दे जा रे निंदिया के उड़ते पाखी रे अखियों में आजा साथी रे रारी रारो Urariro, rariraro, urariro, surmai akkiyon mein nanna munna ek sapna de ja re.